5 years later, he cried. But rewind to the beginning. He cheated while she was pregnant. She lost everything. He threw a party. And when his new girl showed up, she made her move. Revenge isn't loud. Sometimes it just waits. This one comes from the pro-revenge sub. This happened around 1999 or 2000, when I was 19 or 20 years old. A friend recently reminded me of this story and called it the juiciest mix of revenge and karma he'd ever heard, and said I needed to share it. So here it is. If you've ever been cheated on by someone you loved, this one's for you. I had just gotten out of a 5-year relationship. Newly single, I finally worked up the courage to tell someone I'd been holding a candle for since junior high. Let's call him DN. We had been friends for years. We kissed once, but I never pursued more. I didn't want to risk the friendship or be humiliated. I told my best friend at the time, but kept my feelings from him. Then I moved from Alaska to the Pacific Northwest. From a safe distance, I decided to just say it, lay it all out and move on. I figured he wouldn't feel the same. Maybe we'd have an awkward chat. Maybe he'd stop talking to me, but he didn't. He said things like, I always had a thing for you, but never knew how to approach you, and I was afraid you'd reject me. Suddenly, never moving back didn't feel so certain. After that phone call, I started flying back to Alaska every couple of weeks. A relative worked as a pilot, so I could fly standby. And when people found out we were together, I kept hearing, you and DN, I always hoped you two would end up together. It felt validating, like something I'd waited for my whole life was finally happening. A few months later, DN proposed. I said yes without hesitation. I started planning my move back to Alaska. I shipped everything I owned. It wasn't much, but it was everything I had. We were going to live with his roommate. Let's call him BM. You'll remember that name later. Then, just a few days before my final flight, I felt off, tired, nauseous. So I took a pregnancy test. Positive. I was overwhelmed, but happy. I loved him. We were building a life together. I couldn't wait to tell him. That night I called, but he was already at a party. I have to tell you about this cool artist chick who showed up, he said. I felt my stomach twist. His voice was too excited. I said, don't do anything you'll regret. He told me to call back. I did. Hours later, someone else answered. DN's here, but he can't come to the phone right now. I already knew. I called the next morning. No answer. That evening, I got through. I have to tell you something, he said before I could even speak. Then he admitted it. He'd slept with the cool artist chick from the party. I now refer to her only as Thought. He didn't ask what my news was. He didn't let me speak. I hung up and threw up. Later I called again, angry, heartbroken. He begged for forgiveness, said it was a mistake, that we could still move forward. I told him, that wasn't a mistake. That was a choice. I said I'd still come to Alaska, but only to get my things. And then I miscarried. The pregnancy I hadn't even had time to process was gone. The baby was gone, and the man I thought I'd build a life with had already betrayed me. So I flew back to Anchorage, alone, just before Christmas. He didn't pick me up from the airport. Maybe he forgot, maybe he didn't care. Either way, I was stranded. An older couple saw me crying and asked if I was okay. I broke down in front of them. I was too embarrassed to accept help. Eventually, I got a cab to his house. I knocked on the door until I couldn't feel my fingers. His roommate, BM, finally answered. DN was passed out in his room. I sat on the couch. I didn't cry, I didn't scream, I just waited. When he finally came out, I played it cool, detached, calm. I wasn't going to be the crazy ex. He must have taken that to mean we were just friends now, like we were never engaged. Like I hadn't flown up for months to be with him, like I hadn't lost our baby. So he invited her over, Thought. She came in smiling, friendly. She had no idea who I was or why I was there. He told her I was just a friend. She didn't know about the engagement, the pregnancy, nothing. I hadn't just lost a relationship. I'd been erased. I stayed for 2 agonizing weeks, waiting for my things to arrive so I could ship them home. I slept on the couch. While they did their thing in the next room. I cried, silently. I didn't confront him. If he didn't know he was being cruel, nothing I said would change him. But I wasn't going to let him walk away untouched. No screaming, no broken dishes, no keyed cars. I was going to hurt him my way. At another party, yes, another one, I pulled Thought aside, waited until the timing was right. She and I slipped into his bedroom, and I turned on the charm. We hooked up, right there, in his room. Afterward, I told her the truth. Who I was, why I was there, what he had done, that I'd been pregnant, that I had lost the baby. She was stunned. Then I said, if he could do that to someone who's known him for years, imagine what he'll do to you. DN walked in while we were talking. There was no fight, no yelling, just silence. He didn't know what had happened. Thought left. The next morning, DN asked what I'd done. I looked him in the eye and said, "She was an easy hookup. I'm not surprised you got with her the same day you met. I just did the same thing you did." His face went white. He didn't speak, just changed the subject. But he knew. I left Alaska a few days later, got my things, got on a flight, never looked back. 5 years passed. By then I was married, pregnant again, with someone who truly loved me. Then I got an email from DN. He wanted to catch up, so I called, and he told me what happened after I left. Karma, in order. Thought cheated on him with his best friend. Moved in with the guy 2 weeks after I left. He got fired on Christmas Eve. His truck broke down. It got impounded. He couldn't get it back. His family disowned him. His friends threw a party, got him blackout drunk, beat him up, and threw him out into the snow. He had to leave the state. When I called, he was in Texas, alone. He said, "Whatever you did, it planted a seed that destroyed my life." And that's when I told him about the baby. He cried. "I had no idea," he said. And I replied, "We had sex. Not like it was impossible. I tried to tell you, but you didn't care. You didn't ask." More crying, more apologies. I didn't yell. I didn't insult him. I didn't raise my voice. I said, "It's okay. I'm married now. I'm happy. Sorry to hear it's been rough. Let's keep in touch." He never did. Looking back, I confused charm and words with love. But he never thought about me or anyone else, only himself. I got my revenge by staying silent, by being calm, by walking away. 5 years later, his tears watered the grave of our unborn child, and I let go. Let's dive into the comments section. First comment, "Wow, you mic dropped 5 years later. Karma did all the work for you. You didn't deserve that guy. I really hope you found the love and happiness you always longed for." Reply from OP. Thank you. Honestly, it felt terrible to do what I did with Thought, to connect with her intimately just to hurt DN. I took no pleasure in it. She was collateral damage, and I do regret that. But all the love and happiness I was searching for, it was inside me all along. I just hadn't learned how to nurture it yet. Second comment, "Your story fulfilled every revenge fantasy I've ever had. Now it's time to unsubscribe." Reply from OP, "Thank you for that. I actually laughed out loud. Reliving the experience wasn't easy, but your comment made it feel a little lighter." Third comment, "I don't know why the best part of this story is you dropping the miscarriage on him 5 years later. But it is. Revenge really is a dish best served 5 years cold." Reply from OP, "I was really hoping he'd never contact me again. But since he brought it all back up, I thought, yeah, forget that guy." There were no screaming matches, no dramatic scenes, just a woman on a couch watching a man unravel and saying nothing. In the end, Karma didn't need help. She just opened the door and let it in. Sub if you like watching people implode gracefully. There's always another train wreck just a click away.